I did this on purpose to weed out the weaklings. So it's the last Saturday of the month. Technically it's the first Saturday of June, but usually this week I would be doing a May goals wrap up and talking about my goals for June. However, some really awesome stuff has kind of come about that I haven't talked about too much. So I thought today, instead of a goals video, I would do a story time on my publishing journey because your girl has got a book deal. I was signed by New Traditions Publishing at the end of April, and we have been in talks ever since then, just trying to get the final little things back and forth, contracts and manuscripts. And now, as of yesterday morning, I want to say, my manuscript is in the hands of my editor. So the ball is rolling and I am fucking stoked. And I just want to tell you guys that this was not an easy journey, and I want to kind of tell you about my experience. I'm gonna talk to you guys about how I came to get with my beautiful new home, New Traditions Publishing. By the way, I am a shining example of why a social media presence is vital to an indie author's career. Once you understand my story, you will understand why you have to have a strong presence on social media, even though social media can really suck sometimes. So I've been a writer for 10 years. Everyone knows that. You guys probably watched my, video of me reading my first manuscript from when I was in 8th grade. And I have been writing on and off since then, basically. The same kind of story. I've reworked this book millions and millions of times. Last January 2017, after a few months of not looking at my writing, I plugged my flash drive into my computer to kind of just take a look at my work, and a lot of it was gone. The flash drive was corrupted, and then the computer I was using crashed. So I lost basically all of the work that I had done since 2007 or whenever. It made me realize how important writing was to me, and that I had to get my head out of my ass and start treating it seriously, because it was important to me and I didn't understand. They say you don't know what you got till it's gone. So I dug up what I could in terms of drafts and started working on the series again. I started working on Civil Blood, started sending it out to friends to read in its second draft, which I never ever recommend, because your second draft is not a book yet. You think it is, because it's better than the first one, and that's true. That's still not a book. So I, really buckled down in 2017 and decided, I am gonna be an author. I wanna be published. This is something I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. I'm making it happen. So I started doing my research. I started looking into Kindle Direct Publishing. I started trying to figure out how I could maybe self-pub. In October of 2017, I discovered a program called Kindle Scout. For those of you that don't know, Kindle Scout is a program that Amazon used to have. It is now defunct. Essentially, you would send your manuscript out to the Kindle Scout team. They would decide if you were eligible for the program, and what it is anybody with an Amazon account can become a Kindle Scout. They would go and they would read the first 3 chapters of the book, and they would vote on it, and Scouts could vote for 3 books at a time. And I guess whoever got the most votes would be eligible to get a publishing contract with one of Amazon's imprints. That was never really clarified as to how you win. They never told you how many votes you got. We'll get to the shit show that was Kindle Scout in a little while. But I thought this was an amazing opportunity. So of course I polished up my manuscript. This is the 3rd draft at this point. And I sent it on over to Kindle Scout. The Scout's like, hey, you're eligible. Your campaign will start November 24th, which was the day after Thanksgiving, and it'll end on Christmas Eve. The Kindle Scout campaigns are 30 days. People have 30 days to vote on your book. Of course, I'm thrilled that Amazon Kindle Scout thinks that I am even close to being good enough to post on their website. I'm freaking out. And I realize I am the only person who can make this happen. If I don't talk about it, if I don't get it out there, if I don't promote, if I don't market, if I don't talk about my book, if I don't get people voting for my book, there's no fucking way I'm gonna be able to get a contract with Amazon. So in November of 2017, I joined the writerly social media world. I made a writerly Instagram, I made a Twitter, I made a writerly Facebook page, and I wanna say I got my Tumblr back, but that might have been after the fact when I decided to do a blog. But I went out into the social media world, not just as Victoria, but as Renae Writes. I took excerpts from my book, made them into cool little graphics. Thanks, Canva. If you don't use Canva, you're a dumbass. Basically, just make my own promotional material and put it on my social media. Have my friends share it, promote it on Instagram and Facebook. It was much more successful than I anticipated. People I've known since like kindergarten were messaging me on Facebook being like, I just went to the campaign page and read the chapters and wow, you're such a great writer. I can't wait to see this book in stores. Like, I know you're gonna win. I'm so excited for you. And then I also found this incredible group of human beings on Instagram who were just following me, liking my content, messaging me saying they hoped I win, I voted for you, I sent it to my friends, I made a fake Amazon account, I made a dummy Amazon account, I made a second Amazon account to vote for you. And it was so just, it's really nice when you want to do something and for the first time you feel like you really could. For the first time you see that people are interested in what you have to say in the medium that you like to say it in. And for people I didn't even know to be giving me such nice feedback and to be so supportive, it was really nice. It was just really nice, and it made me really hopeful. And I did relatively well in the Kindle Scout campaign if you check the stats. The problem with Kindle Scout, and clearly I did not win, and clearly I might be a tiny bit bitter about this, but the reason that I am bitter is because there is no real way to understand why you didn't win. You never find out how many votes you got. They never really tell you what the parameters are to be selected. And my book was submitted during NaNoWriMo. When you submitted your manuscript during the month of November or December, you were supposed to get a detailed critique from one of the editors at an Amazon imprint. And that never happened. So, not only do I not know why I didn't win, I didn't know what was wrong with my book. And I waited because I understood my campaign ended on Christmas Eve. I waited until probably mid-January, probably a good 3-4 weeks, to hear whether or not I had been chosen. And then when I wasn't chosen, I never heard anything again. However, the minute I started getting positive feedback from people I knew and strangers alike, I realized this was something I really, really wanted. And so while I was on the Kindle Scout campaign, I started querying like a motherfucker. I dug real deep into the archives of the interwebs to find people who would take unsolicited manuscripts, to find publishers that would take unagented manuscripts, because I was querying to agents and to publishing houses at the same time. And I wouldn't call it desperation. I was just excited. I just didn't understand. And I knew that rejection was a dime a dozen in this industry. I just looked for people who represented things like the things that I was writing. And I got rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. Okay. So clearly, those people are stupid, right? That's a joke. Just a joke. Clearly, my book wasn't ready, right? Once I got like my 8th rejection, I went ahead and withdrew all my queries that I had out, and I was like, this book needs more work. That's fine. And right around this time, at the end of December, is when I got a message. A page called New Traditions Publishing slid into my DMs. At this point, I'm like, well, I know it's not there yet, but they seem interested in what they've seen. They seem interested in the premise, and they seem interested in my writing style. So I made a couple of changes. I was already starting to try to work on the 4th draft of the book, and I sent it out to New Traditions Publishing. And this was probably in December, January, maybe mid-January. digging of my own, and they're a small indie press. They haven't published too much. They've published, I want to say 3 books at the time of this posting. They do have 5, including mine, scheduled to come out. There are no dates yet, but they have 5 that are currently in publication. So that's exciting that they've grown by double plus. I didn't find them on Writer Beware. I didn't find them on any of the websites that you go to, Writer's Digest, etc., to say stay away from this is the scam. So I said that's good enough for me, because on the internet, no press is good press. And long story short, I was given an offer on April 20th. I got my contract on April 24th. I had some issues with it and sent it back. You know, same old dirty fine print stuff. The lovely Leah Yayakumi looked over it for me, and a couple of other friends looked over it for me and said everything looked to be on the up and up. And ever since then, I have been officially under contract with New Traditions Publishing for the release of my debut novel, Civil Blood. And that's so exciting. It is so exciting because rejection is the nature of the beast, right? We're all used to being rejected. Kindle Scout hurt a lot because it was my first major rejection, I think. And it was also the first time I had put myself out there in the social media world and said, hey, I'm trying to achieve this goal, and the goal didn't happen. And so everybody knew, but I found a home, at least for Civil Blood, that works for me. They are giving me pretty much total control over the cover. Whatever I want to do with it, I can do with it. They are helping me in every way, formatting, editing. They're taking care of all of the little bits and pieces. The only thing that really isn't being taken care of by them is the marketing, but you learn really quickly in this day and age that unless you're a huge name, no publishing company is gonna spend buku bucks on your marketing. It's up to you as the writer to spread that shit like herpes. And that is why you need social media. Let me just be the first to say I hate social media. I find it such a waste of time. I deleted it off my phone for a while and it was like the best feeling of my whole life. And then I realized that if I wanted to keep any kind of audience engaged, that I needed to be on it and posting daily, because people don't care about you unless you're in their face. And thanks to algorithms, it's a lot harder to be in their face. So you do have to post daily and get post interaction for people to give a shit about you. My phone died and it's 9,000 degrees outside, so I put my hair up. Plus it looked really dirty in the viewfinder. But yeah, social media can suck, okay? But gone are the days of being a recluse writer who doesn't interact with people and just dies a mysterious legend. You're not Emily fucking Dickinson. Like, it's not gonna happen. Even J.K. Rowling blows Twitter up, okay? I keep running out of space on my garbage phone, which means it's time to end this video. In all of its dirty, nasty glory, that is my publishing journey so far. If you want to stay updated minute to minute pretty much, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Renae Writes. I'm Renae Writes everywhere, by the way. Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, YouTube, Pinterest. Not even kidding. It's all Renae Writes. I also have a website. Guess what it is? In the meantime, I hope you like this video. Let me know if you have any questions about Kindle Scout, New Traditions Publishing, sort of my querying process. If you want to see how I wrote my queries, I can do a whole video on that. Just let me know. But in the meantime, I'll see you next Saturday.